Now, one of President Trump's campaign pollsters is saying something that progressives have been saying since the election. Get ready for it. Say it with me. Bernie would have won. According to The Hill, Trump pollster Tony Fabrizio told a Harvard University Institute of Politics event on Monday that Bernie Sanders could have won the election had he been the Democratic nominee. He says that Bernie Sanders would have done better in places where Hillary Clinton did not. He said, there was no question that if it had been anybody other than Clinton or anybody other than Trump, that race would not have been as close as it was either way. It would not have been. When asked what would happen during a Sanders-Trump matchup, Fabrizio says, quote, I think Sanders beats Trump. I think Sanders would have had the ability to reach a lot of the less than college-educated, low-income white voters. Now, that is true. I do believe he would have been able to reach out better to some of those voters. But let's be honest, most Trump voters, it's been shown, were actually middle class or higher, moderately wealthy even. So these are people, you know, living in the suburbs, making over $100,000 a year. Donald Trump did really, really well with those people. And actually, a lot of poorer people did go for Hillary Clinton. So, to be fair. But look, this is funny because those voters that did go for Trump, those are the people that the Hillary Clinton campaign was targeting. They wanted to get the white suburban mom, you know, that voted for Mitt Romney to vote for Hillary Clinton. I guess since they're so similar. And these, you know, people who primarily vote Republicans. In fact, I think one of their strategists, and I always forget the name, it might have been Tom Perez, might not have been, but said something like, for every blue-collar voter we lose in Pennsylvania, we gain 2 people in the suburbs, Republican Romney voters in the suburbs. So that was their plan. Like, no, we're going to appeal to the center, which is actually center-right, and we're going to get these, you know, moderate Republicans. They're going to vote for Hillary Clinton, and then we're going to win the election because we appealed to the rational people. No, those people turned out for Trump overwhelmingly. So you can't really say that that was effective, okay? But that was their plan. Now, Bernie Sanders did do well with people who were poor. That's true, and people with middle class. But the fact that he did, that he's saying that, well, he would have done really, really well with poor white people, I don't know. The polling doesn't necessarily bear that out, and I'll get to that in a minute. But those voters, the middle class ones, and the wealthier ones that went for Trump, again, those are the people that, those people weren't mad at the establishment. Oh, of course not. They're actually doing well, really well under the Obama economy. So their problem is they just didn't like Hillary Clinton. They didn't like the Democrats. So let's be fair about that. Now, on white people, right? According to polls, only 53% of white people have a favorable view of Bernie Sanders. That's actually the demographic that he does worst with. Okay? He actually does far better with Latinos and African Americans. In fact, African Americans, he's got a 73% approval rating. That he does incredibly well. Now, could his outreach have been a little bit better? Of course. There's always room to criticize a campaign for stuff that you don't think that they did right. And that's a fair criticism that I've had of Bernie Sanders. But at the end of the day, it wasn't that screwed him over. It was the DNC. It was people like Tom Perez, who's now the head of the DNC. It was an Obama pick. This is a guy who came up with the smear to with the smear that Bernie Sanders does not do well with minorities. Oh, no. Nevada is very, very diverse. Looks like the rest of the country. We can't have Bernie Sanders win here. So we're going to say that he just doesn't do well with African Americans. He does really, really well with white people. I just referenced a poll, several, by the way. It was a Fox News poll even. 53% of white people compared to 73% of black voters that approve of Bernie Sanders. That is a lie and a smear of Sanders. So, again, Trump pollster, what do you expect, right? But anyway, look, it's not true that he does well with that he does poorly with minority groups. Now, of course, there will be people that have and will say that the GOP, the reason that Bernie Sanders is still popular is because the GOP really didn't attack Bernie Sanders. That's why he polled better. Hillary Clinton was the subject of relentless attack by the Republicans, by the smear machine. And look, they're right. There's a lot of truth to that, right? Candidates who are under attack obviously take a huge hit in polling. Hillary Clinton wasn't polling great before the election anyway. Hillary Clinton has always been pretty unpopular. Bernie Sanders is the most popular politician in America. Now, if he got attacked by the right-wing smear machine, yes, he would probably lose a few points. But at the same time, he's very, very popular, even among Republicans. Trump, he was the second most unpopular. Hillary Clinton actually had the higher negatives than Donald Trump, and even at this point, she's still more unpopular than he is. While Bernie Sanders consistently polled higher than Donald Trump by double digits. The most brutal attacks by Donald Trump and the Republicans might have eroded him by a few points. But when you're double digits ahead, that's not the difference between winning and losing. But with Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump running against each other, it was so very close. It was closer than it should have been. Way closer than it should have been. And he's right about that. Now, there will of course be attacks of, hey, he's a socialist. Well, they already talk about that anyway. It's funny is that socialism is actually becoming more popular among young people. So it's not really an effective attack against people who are millennials, who are going to turn out at the polls, or who could turn out at the polls and really make a huge impact in the elections. And also, look, the people with whom red baiting actually works, they're not the type of people that would be voting for a Democrat anyway, because, again, the right likes to characterize every Democrat as a card-carrying communist. So, again, just saying. And look, even when broken down, Bernie's policies, they actually poll very well even among Republicans. Things like that are pretty universal, like infrastructure spending, in this case, opposition to free trade, and breaking up the banks, taxing the rich. Those are popular proposals. And even Medicare for All has gained some traction with Republicans as well. And also an advantage for Bernie Sanders, other than just being on the right side of a lot of policy, is you take away Trump's biggest weapon, the anger at the establishment. Bernie Sanders is not an establishment figure. He wasn't corrupt. He wasn't corrupt Bernie. Okay? Crooked Bernie. No, you'd have to come up with something like, oh, crazy Bernie. Crazy Bernie wants to give you health care. How dare he? But wait, you say you want to give everybody health care. In fact, he said it in his speeches before. We're going to have great health care. It's going to be universal health care. Everybody's going to get it. It's going to be cheaper. It's going to be greater. It's going to be tremendous. Well, you were offering, trying to offer the same thing. Now, he did so because he was being incredibly vague on purpose, because he didn't actually have a plan. But all the stuff that he promised from his healthcare plan would have actually happened under Bernie Sanders' healthcare plan, under Medicare for All. So, again, he took away a lot of Donald Trump's most potent weapons, especially when it comes to weaponizing anger against the establishment, the political elite, okay, who weren't exactly friends of Bernie Sanders. But anyway, he also didn't have the scandal, the baggage, unfairly or not, that Hillary Clinton also had. So that leaves very, very little avenues of attack. Just, oh, it's crazy Bernie, he's a socialist and wants to take all your money. Which is not true, of course. And look, he was also perfect for an election that was a rebuke of the status quo. So this is 2016 was basically the people saying, you know what, the voters saying, hey, we're tired of your establishment. We're tired of your corruption. We're tired of the status quo. We want change, and we want it now. Well, Bernie Sanders, definitely a change candidate, and would have actually done far better than Trump, because his kind of change was positive change, and Trump's kind of change was negative change. So yes, Bernie Sanders would have won. I do believe that. The polls that pitted Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump, and even polls that do so now, after the election, tell us so. Show us so. And now even Trump's pollster is saying, yeah, we knew. We're so glad the Democrats in their infinite wisdom decided to run Hillary Clinton. It was a gift from heaven. Manna from heaven. Boy, they were looking out for us because they actually ran one of the worst candidates against Donald Trump. Well, that's what happens. One of the Democrats, the corporate Democrats, the establishment, going to admit that this was not the right way to go. That neoliberal economic policy doesn't work. A focus on only identity politics minus intersectionalism doesn't work. You've got to have intersectional politics if you're going to have, for example, there's, a lot of the Hillary Clinton supporters, unfortunately, are your straight up white feminists that are not intersexual. They are intersectional. They leave out women of color. I mean, look at the nasty attacks against Nina Turner, for example. This is from white liberal feminists. Now, there's feminism, which is awesome, right? Intersectional feminism, which is great. White liberal feminism, not so good. So, but they wanted to focus on that and focus on, no, it's our turn. It's my turn. I'm with her. That's why they lost. A big part of why they lost. Look, when are the Democrats going to admit that nothing that they did works and things that they stand for don't work? That giving more unlimited money to corporations and allowing corporations to give the politicians unlimited money, that it doesn't work. That it doesn't work. When are they going to do that? Well, they're not going to do that. And that's why we, as progressives, we actually have to replace them. We've got to get them out of power. We've got to replace them. And we've got to, take back what's ours. The Democratic Party. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.